Another course vlog today. I'm playing Dragonfly in Madera, California from the black tees, and at some point they put in the way back black tees which play over 8,000 yards, so if you want to see me play those sometime, leave a comment and let me know. My first drive clipped the tree and I had to pitch out to here. Hit a nice 8-iron in here, but just didn't draw quite enough, so I was left with this downhill chip for a par. Pretty good chip here, just hit it a little too far on that left line, but it came down the hill and left me with this little comebacker for bogey. Not the hardest putt, just a little bit uphill right to left, so I made that one for a bogey and moved on to 2. This is a really skinny par 5, so I'm hitting a hybrid off the tee to a wider landing area. And unfortunately had an unplayable lie, so I had to drop to here, and this is my 3rd shot in, so I'm just laying up with a 7-iron, fading it up there a bit. Had about 65-70 yards in, so I hit a little low spinner 52 and hit a good shot, which left me with this putt. It's about 15 feet up the hill, hard break right at the end, and I got it in the side door, so I saved par on that hole. This is the shortest par 3 from the black tees, playing around 165, so I hit an 8-iron up there, just a little bit right of the pin, and missed the green by a few feet. Of course I duffed this first chip shot, but you know, I really didn't want to get off on a bad foot, so I hit a good putt here and ended up sinking this for another par. Putting has been feeling a lot better lately. Just by moving the ball forward in my stance, I'm pushing a lot less putts, so I'm feeling good about that. And this tee shot is another hybrid. You can hit a driver, but if you get up too close to the green, it makes the approach shot really hard. The green is really skinny and kind of long, so you kind of want to come in from the right side. I meant to hit a little fade here, but ended up drawing it just a little bit, so I did miss left and long. And I couldn't putt from here. I had to pitch over this little ground under repair area. So unfortunately I hit that a little bit too hard and had about a 15-footer just off the green for a par. I hit a good putt, but didn't have the right line, so I missed that, but tapped in for a bogey. This next hole's another par 3. It was playing about 218, so I hit a little 5-iron draw in there, hit it really well, and it was headed straight at the pin, ended up just a little bit short. So from the black tees, not only are these par 3s really long, but the greens are really undulating, so you can see this break off hard left, but at least I had a tap in for par. This hole's another par 5. I hit a really good drive, just a little bit right of my line, so ended up catching that middle bunker on the right. But you really don't want to go for this green in 2 anyway, so I hit an 8-iron out of that bunker, just laid up with a good distance left to the pin. I had about 120 into the pin and hit a good shot, but the whole day I was just hitting everything right. They were all going straight and they weren't really block shots. I think my alignment was just off, but I had this tough bunker shot down the hill and hit a really good shot out of there and rolled it up to just a couple feet. So luckily I was able to save par on that hole. This hole is one of the shortest, but also probably the hardest par 4 on this course. I hit a decent drive, a little draw, but a little thin, and luckily it rolled out from the right side of the fairway back to the middle, and then I had about 130 yards into the green. Again, tried to hit a little draw in there, didn't draw at all, went dead straight, and I left myself in the worst spot you can. This chip doesn't look super hard at first glance, but this pin is right on the precipice of about a 4-foot hill, so I hit a good pitch shot. It just went 2 or 3 feet too long, and you'll see it rolled all the way down the hill. I don't know if this pin was even legal because it was just a couple feet from rolling down the hill. So I had this huge uphill putt left, and of course missed that long, and then the comeback putt, you don't want to go long because it will seriously easily go down that hill again. So I took a double there, and looking back, I really should have just played that hole for a bogey. Another solid tee shot here, but just aiming too far right again, ended up in the weeds. So I had an awkward shot here, hit a good one, just pulled it a little bit just to the left of the greenside bunker. And this flop shot was really tough. It was over a hill, over a bunker, onto a downslope, and I hit it about as good as you can get. I'd say it was only a 10% chance of even keeping it on the green. So I hit a putt on a good line, but immediately knew it was short because it was way uphill, so I ended up taking a bogey on that hole. This hole is pretty cool. It has a split fairway, and I took it down the left side, but pulled it a little bit, and I hit it really hard, so it ended up just a little bit too far. Luckily, I did have a window between these last two trees with about 120 yards left, and I hit a perfect distance, but again, just aimed too far right, and the ball actually got stuck in the wood around the bunker. So I had to take a drop and then hit a really good chip shot down to here and tap that in for another bogey. So I was +6 on the front nine, which isn't too bad, but should have been 2 or 3 strokes better, and I hit this drive on 10 perfectly down the right side. So I had about 65 yards in here, hit a really good pitch shot, and it hit the green, jumped right at the hole, and kind of broke off to the left down the hill. I had just a few feet left for birdie, and ended up sinking that one for my first birdie of the day. Hit another really good drive on this monster dogleg right, par 4, and it was in perfect position for my approach. This was probably the best struck shot of the day. It was a pitching wedge straight over the pin, but I just hit it a little too good and ended up about 30 feet past the hole. Like I said, I was feeling good about my putting and hit this one right on line, and it was going right at the hole, but decided to break off left right at the end, so I tapped in for par. Another super long par 3. This one was playing about 225 to a back flag. Hit a really good 5-iron right at the pin again, but ended up short, so I had about a 45, 50-foot putt. Hit a great putt way up the hill, breaking right to left, just a little bit long, but I left myself a short enough putt that I didn't have to worry about making par. Pretty short par 5 here if you get a good drive. I did push this one just a little bit, but it carried the trees just enough to leave me with an open approach to the green. It was about 210 to the flag, and I hit a 6-iron, but again, hit it really well, just aimed too far right. So I ended up in the right bunker, which was actually pretty lucky because this whole green is surrounded by water. I got scared of this bunker shot, so left it short, and then I did the same thing with this putt because it's way downhill in the last few feet. Luckily, I hit a good follow-up putt down the hill, breaking right to left, and still made par. This is another relatively short par 4. You gotta hit a draw here, and I hit a really good one. So that left me with about 125 yards to the pin. I tried to draw it in there again, hit it just a little too good, and ended up about 30 feet too long. So again, just a really long putt, no real chance of making it, but I hit a good one and left myself a gimme for a par. This is a really tough driving hole. If you go too far left, you're in the water, and if you go too far right, which I did, you kind of bounce off the hill into the trees on the cart path. And I didn't get my punch shot on camera, but it was basically a miracle punch to get it up to here, and had a putt straight down the hill for a birdie. I thought it was going to break to the left, but it was dead straight. But to be honest, I was kind of lucky to escape that hole with a par. This was an insanely hard par 3, playing about 230 yards over the water. The green is probably 50 yards wide, so I aimed at the right side, hit a big sweeping draw in there, hit exactly what I wanted. So I had about 35-40 feet to the pin and just got too excited on this one, hit it way too hard. Gave this one a good roll, but I totally misread this comeback putt, so unfortunately made a bogey, but considering how long and hard all these par 3s were today, playing them 1 over was really good. Absolutely crushed this drive right on my line towards that tree. Sadly just a little too far, so I had to kind of punch through this little tunnel here. I ended up pulling the shot and it did go into the long grass, and I had this approach to get on in regulation. I tried to close down the face to keep it from getting caught up in the grass, but ended up pulling it to the left. Hit a pretty good chip here, just I needed to carry it about 5 feet farther to get it up to the flag. And then I don't know what happened here. I thought this putt was pretty straight, but you can see it just breaks way off to the right, so I missed that. And was pretty fortunate to make this comebacker for a bogey. Hole 18 is another par 5, so this course does end with 2 par 5s since it is a par 73. Again, I hit a really good drive, just a little bit right, ended up in the fairway bunker. It was right up against a rake, so I had to move that and had a really weird side hill lie, but I wasn't going for the green anyway, so I punched out. This was a really straightforward pitch shot, and of course that means I'm going to duff it here. And then I had this putt. You can see the pin is in a little gully. I hit a really good putt and figured it would go right over the edge and roll down to the hole. And you'll see it kind of go down the hill right here at the end. But when I got up to the ball, it stopped on the downslope somehow, so I had a really tough putt here. And of course missed that one, so I ended up with a bogey on the last hole. So overall ended up +8, finishing with 3 bogeys on a course that's rated 75, so not too bad overall, but I know I can do better. Again, I think I'm going to go back and play the way back black tees from over 8,000 yards, so let me know if you want to see that.